happy to say that all my chemo radiation therapy is over and done with. Well, hopefully all over and done with. And so I'm just down at the local cricket track, and I thought I'll do a few laps today because of course I'm starting to get some energy levels back, starting to feel a little bit more sure in my balance, which I haven't felt for many months. Thought I'd do a few laps down here, have a chat with yous and give yous an update on where I am up to. So a week ago today, Thursday last week, I finished all my therapies. Now radiation therapy wasn't that bad. It basically was 15 minutes per day, 5 days per week, every weekend off, laying on what is called a VMAT machine. Now you lay on the table, the machine shoots a focused ray of radiation into the affected tumour areas to try and break down and shrink the tumours, or at minimal effect stop the tumours from growing. It wasn't too bad. The last few days was its worst. They said radiation therapy, the side effects would peak within the last 2 weeks and continue to peak for 2 weeks after. So I still do get very tired. I still feel nauseous from time to time, but that is more the chemo rather than the radiation. And of course I have a lot of pain down in around my bottom area. Chemo, on the other hand, it wasn't as kind. I was lucky enough to only have to have tablet form. I'm glad I didn't have to have a pump or go in on a regular basis and have it intravenously fed. So it was basically 4 rather large tablets of a morning and another 4 at night. Now it left me feeling quite nauseous, and hate to be blunt, but terrible bouts of diarrhea on and off. And so I'm glad that's over. I am still feeling quite ill in the stomach. Again, like radiation, it takes about 2 weeks for the side effects to really start to disappear. So I'm still what you would call hot. I've got another week to go before I'm all good and radiation and chemo medication free. And so now it's just in preparation for the operation. Now essentially what the radiation and the chemo has done has focused concentrated sunlight onto the tumour areas. Now I've always said that the sun shines out of my arse, but I was due to have my operation on the 10th. That didn't happen. Now if you remember, just after Christmas, or just before New Year's it was, I said this. I've got to be in Brisbane on the 7th of January for an MRI. I meet with my Brisbane surgeon on the 8th, and I am booked in for surgery on the 10th. And yes, that did happen to a degree. I went down to Brisbane, and on the 7th of January I had an MRI. On the 8th of January I met with my Surgeon. Spoke to my surgeon on the 8th of January. The MRI had come back and had discovered more cancer. The cancer was in the left front wall of my pelvis. Now, according to the surgeon, and I believe him, the male pelvis is extremely difficult to operate on, being so much more narrower than a woman's pelvis. So, being that my weight was of rather hefty proportions, it was basically impossible for him to operate on the pelvis, and was not much point of operating on the other tumour as well. So, with all that taken into account, that is the reason why I basically rushed home from Brisbane to start on the chemo radiation therapy as soon as possible. Now, other findings of the MRI, which I didn't know prior to meeting with my specialist in Brisbane, was that I do not have bowel cancer. It is slightly lower than that. I have rectal cancer. And furthermore, the tumour is low down in the rectum and is sitting on top of my sphincter muscles. So, what does that mean in retrospect? Now, here I was thinking with bowel cancer, simply going in, having a bit of a nip and tuck and cut, coming out with awesome tight looking buns. That's not the case. Because of where the tumour is, they can't just simply remove the tumour. So what that means is I will be having, I'm going to try and get this right now, laparoscopic abdominopeneal resection. And what that basically means is everything from the rectum down to the anus will be removed. My lower bowel will then be redirected to my abdominal wall, where I will have a stoma. And then sorry guys. And then what that means is the rest of my days will be spent wearing a colostomy bag. So yes, I was kind of expecting to have one temporarily by the bowel repaired itself after surgery, but now it will be permanent. Now, I have spoken to the stoma sisters, or the nurses, and they reassure me that stomas and colostomy bags have come a very long way, and basically you'll hardly ever know that you're wearing one. So the good things about this is when I bend over, I'll look like a Ken doll. Secondly, just imagine the toilet paper I'll save, especially now with Australia going crazy over toilet paper because of the coronavirus. Thirdly, when I'm biking and hiking, I don't have to worry about finding and digging a little hole. Furthermore on that, I don't have to remember toilet paper when I go out. No, but in all seriousness guys, I'm trying to see the funny side of it. It's my way of processing it, I suppose. But look, I've been reassured that you have a pretty active life. It won't stop me from biking and hiking. And in actual fact, once I learn to irrigate the bowels, I'll only have to wear a bag every couple of days once I learn my bow cycle, not push bicycle. So now I'm in weight loss mode. The surgeon and my local GP has put me on a VLCD program, or what they call a very low calorie diet, and essentially I'm using meal replacements, basically, you know, the shakes, the bars, the soups and the packaged meals. That coupled with a couple of serves of veggies per day and a lot of water. And I'm happy to announce I started last Tuesday, so I've been on and over a little over a week now. But my first official weigh-in was a weight loss of 3.1 kilos. So I'm happy with that. It's not just a case of getting healthy again, it's a case of I have to lose this weight for them to have any chance of removing that that tumour in the pelvis. So it's a life-saving diet, if you want to put it that way. So I have to go down to Brisbane again at the end of this month. I'll be catching the train down because, as you all know, I don't like driving. And I've got to have another MRI, another PET scan, which is what shows up cancer. And I did have one of them, I think, on the 9th of January, which confirmed everything. And so I'll be going down at the end of this month, or actually the beginning of April, sorry, to have all those scans again and meet with my surgeon, and hopefully I'll have an operation date. Whew. It just feels good to get out on the bike again after so long, to be able to just clear the head. There's just nothing like a bike ride to do that. And so anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I do have some new gear to check out. I have a new FE Active hammock, and I'm going to try and get into some hammock camping, basically because after the operation I am going to be pretty well off the bike for the rest of this year. There won't be much bike riding till the end of the year, until all the affected areas are healed. But I will be able to hike, and so I thought I'd get a cheap hammock. Anyway, I'll leave that more down the track. But yeah, so there's that. There's some other bike gear that I've bought that I want to try out. Unfortunately, I probably won't have a chance to try that out before the operation. But anyway, guys, I just thought I'd give you all an update, and hope to catch up with you real soon. So until then, cheers guys, and ride safe out there, eh?